This is going to be a slightly longer video on how to get set up with SaaS app with auth plus billing on Supabase. So on our landing page now, we also have these docs, and it will have the README of the latest instructions on how to start getting productive with this thing. So in here, you'll see getting started. We need to go and create a Supabase project, set up the Supabase database, fill out a couple environment variables in Noco. This is basically setting up our backend. And these are the environment variables we'll need. So a couple of these are from Supabase and a couple of these are from Stripe. So let's go ahead and get those set up. To get started, click New Project, start from a template. We are going through the SaaS app with auth and billing, and I'll let Noco handle our GitHub for now and click Create. Once we open this project now, we will need to go through and set up our environment variables. So let's start filling out our environment variables. The next public Supabase URL, next public Supabase anon key, those are both going to come from Supabase. So if you don't have a Supabase account, go ahead and sign up for one and create a project with all of the default settings. Then you'll be able to click connect, go to app frameworks, and here are our two environment variables that we need first. So here are these two knocked out. You can just copy and paste these into the secrets here and click Save Secrets. The next one, we're going to have to get the service role key from Supabase. Back into Supabase, we're going to go over to Project Settings, and we're going to go to Data API and click this service role. So this service role, reveal this, and this is going to be our service role key. We're going to copy this one and put this into our service role key environment variable. The next two are going to be from, well, the next three are from Stripe. So we'll need a Stripe secret key, a webhook secret, and the product ID. So to get your Stripe product ID, you can go to your product catalog. I'll select solo plan. This was a pre-existing one, and I'll copy this product ID. So that product ID will go here. Our Stripe secret key is going to be in dashboard settings. Let's go to developers. In our workbench, we can open up our workbench down here. And here's our secret key. So we can copy this key. That one is going to be our Stripe secret key. And our webhook secret, this one is going to take a couple of steps. I already have it created here, but there's going to be a few key elements I'll need you to copy. You'll be clicking Add Destination. You're going to be selecting the events that are, we'll show the events in a moment, and then you'll have to input this particular URL. So let me show the edit view of what it looks like in the completed state. Here is your project ID. Your project ID is found currently in the URL. So when you go and you click on your project in Noco and you open it up, this is going to be your project ID. So you'll need that in your Stripe webhook. And you can paste that here, .noco.io/API/webhook/Stripe. And then here are the events that you'll need to select: charge succeeded, checkout session completed, and a few from the subscription. So make sure that you have all of these values and you'll be able to click Save Destination, which I have already done. Once you click Save Destination, this is where your signing secret will be. And you can copy this into your signing secret. And let's restart our container and our webhook secret will go here. The last one is the next public site URL, and that is going to be just your product ID again, .noco.io, and that's all you'll need. Essentially, what this is saying is that once the user redirects basically after they check out, they will be brought back to your site, and this is your development environment URL. Once you go to production, of course, you can have your own custom domain, and you'll need to update this variable accordingly. So after all of these environment variables are set up, we will need to go into Supabase and actually create our database and some test data so that we can log in and start customizing invoice flow. The final stage of setting up our environment is to get our data into Supabase. So right now we have an empty Supabase project. If you go into our database, there's nothing here. There's no tables. There's no in Supabase, so it's called row level security. There's nothing here. We have no authentication, nothing yet. So nothing's working. If we go back into our Noco project, I'm going to hide the chat. We're going to be doing some code stuff for a little bit. In this SQL folder, we have RLS, which stands for row level security. So this is going to be our security that we need to paste in to Supabase. Here's our schema. And then the seed is going to be just some test data that we can kind of play around with. So let's go through and start with our schema. So I'm going to copy the schema. I'm going to paste it into, if I go over here in Supabase, our SQL editor, I'm going to paste this in and click run. Success, no rows returned. That's good. Now, if we go into our database, we should have some tables created. So here are the tables we just created. You can have a schema visualizer too. Let's go through the database schema just so that you're aware of what's going on here. Organization is the top level. So essentially, when a user comes in, every user is a part of an organization. This is something called multi-tenancy. So if I am from organization A and you come in and you sign up, you won't be in my organization. You'll be in organization B. So you'll only see organization B's data. That's your organization. When you invite users, they will be invited to organization B. I can't see their stuff and they can't see my stuff. And this is how this works. It's all attached to this organization. So again, invoice flow is the fake application that we're building. So invoices have clients and members belong to organizations, invoices belong to clients, invoices have attachments, and invoices also have some other items that you can add, like a quantity, rate, description, etc. That comprises the invoice, and you sum that up, and that's like the total for the invoice. So that's our simple data schema, but this is ultimately what we'll be customizing or what you'll be customizing to build your own application. You'll probably replace all of these clients, invoices, invoice items, invoice attachments with your own business logic. They will, of course, help you create it, but you'll be doing a lot of copy and pasting into Supabase to adjust this schema to your need. We've created our schema. Now we can create our row level security, RLS.SQL. So I'm copying our RLS. This again is how Supabase knows to attach your stuff from your organization to you as the user. So that's what a lot of this row level security is. Basically, every row in the database you can think of just like an Excel sheet. Each one of those rows has a security policy attached to it. So when you go to request that row from the database, it uses these functions to figure out if you're allowed to do that or not. So we're going to copy and paste this right back into our SQL editor. I just deleted the previous stuff. And let's go and click run here. We have our database set up. Now we need to add some test data just to make sure that everything's working. We're going to do that, and we're going to handle our storage that we'll need for saving uploaded items. So we're going to go into database, and let's go into storage, and let's create a bucket, new bucket. And if you look in our schema and our RLS, we reference this bucket, just trying to show you where a couple things are so that if you get stuck or lost, you can refer back to this video and find stuff. Invoice attachments is the bucket ID that we are referencing. So let's create an invoice attachments bucket ID and click save. So now we'll have invoice attachments bucket. So we'll go and test file uploads in a moment. But while we're in here, we're going to go back into authentication and take care of some users. We're going to add ourselves. So let me create a new user. Let's just do main O, and I will put in a junk password for my password. Auto confirm user I set to yes. And then let's add a new user, test1, gmail.com. And I don't want to invite them. I just want to add them. These are just going to be test users so that we can prove that our row level security is working and that users are being added to the correct organization. So there's our test1 user, and we're going to do a third user, test2. So we have our three test users. Here's me, main. This is my user ID. I'm going to copy my ID and paste it into my seed here. So we're back into Noco, insert into members. This is where we want to add our test users, and this is where we have to create them manually. So for, again, just our test data, we have two organizations. We have Acme Design Co. and Cloud Builders LLC. So I have just added my org ID. Oh, that's incorrect. I need to add my user ID to this field on the right because that's where user ID, this first one is org ID, this one's user ID, and this one is the role. I'm an admin. Going back into Supabase, I'm copying test1 user, doing the same thing, pasting this into the second user, and then I'll go into test2 at Gmail, grab that ID and paste it into this third slot here. One mistake here, I did not add any members to Cloud Builders LLC, so we can go ahead and do that now. I just need two more users, so I can just do Cloud 1 and Cloud 2 at the users. So I'm going to delete that because that didn't work. We'll go to authentication, add a user, create a new user. We'll do Cloud 1 at gmail.com and Cloud 2. And these will be our users for the organization that we should not be able to see their data. Cloud 2. Let me copy Cloud 2's user ID, paste it here, and Cloud1 user, Cloud1 UID, paste it in this first spot. And these are the areas that we just replaced stuff for. And let's go ahead and run this and see if this will add our data. So I'm going to delete what we had before. I'm going to click run. Success, no rows returned. Now, if I go into our database, we should actually have some data in here. Invoice items 40, invoices 20. So here's our test data just to start viewing stuff. Let's go back into NoCo, log in and see if we can see our test data. So here is our template that is loading. You can also pop this out if you want to and show this in like a full screen. So you can use NoCo with multiple monitors if you'd like. Let's click get started. Forget what my test user was. Let's go figure out. It was main at NoCo. And let's do main at NoCo. See if we can sign in. All right, so we were able to log in and we can see our data here. We have 5 total clients, 10 invoices. I could add a new client here. We could create a new invoice. We could go to our clients table. And when you click around, again, this is in dev mode, so it takes a little bit longer to load, but this is built and deployed in production. It's quite fast. Let's test our file uploading and select a random client and a status, and I'll just do a random due date for $1,000 and let's upload a file. Click create invoice. This should save our file, invoice created, and let's see if I can view it. So that's great. Our file upload works. And if I go and edit this, I should be able to also see this in the dropdown current attachment right here. Go back into our billing page and try and check out. We'll put in our same test Stripe card and we will subscribe. Once this works, we should actually be able to see in our logs that we received the Stripe event customer's subscription updated from the organization. This one's the correct org for that user. And when we go back to the billing page, it should now have marked that user as subscribed to our project. So here is their subscription. Now they can click manage subscription and go in and actually manage this. And then you can control this page from Stripe itself. So if you don't want people to be able to cancel from here, or if you do want people to be able to cancel from here, you can change some of those settings in Stripe itself. So at this point, we have authentication, we have our database, we have our file storage, and we have our Stripe billing all set up and ready to go. And this is where you would start to chat with NoCo about the changes that you would like to make for the starter application and transform invoice flow into the thing that you are trying to build.